Hello, and welcome back to the Final Percent podcast. I'm your host today, Cayla Kimble, and I am going to be going over more of our Exponential Women series. I have here with me today a very, very, very special individual, one of my very best friends, Carlie Margheri. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And wow, what an introduction. I love that. I feel honored to be here and to be one of the first to do this with you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you were the first one I'm interviewing, and so I'm so very excited. This is going to be so much fun. So, for those of you who don't know who Carlie is, she is such an incredible rock star in her own right. She is the owner of Eternal Warriors. She is part of our Infinity Club. She's a TFP Infinity Coach. She is an OBS, Operation Black Site instructor. She does so many things behind the scenes, and just her career is incredible, and the things that she's accomplished is just really, really mind blowing. And so I am honored to have you here with me, and I'm so excited to just start talking about stuff and see what happens. So the reason I wanted to bring Carlie on first is because I'll explain a little bit more later why, but she has just become such a person near and dear to my heart. And that's part of why I want to do this Exponential Women series is really highlight and champion the strong and powerful women of the Final Percent community and introduce them to the world and let their stories shine, let have them let their light, share their light, let their light out, be lighthouses, and inspire and equip and help people in our community, like local and at large around the world. And I just think there's so much power in sharing your story. And having a platform like this like is such an honor for me to be able to open up the door to have you be a part of this, as well as other, in upcoming episodes, other women in our community. Is we are going to love on each other, rally around each other, support each other. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm just so grateful that you're going to be a part of this with me and that you're the first one. So
Oh my gosh, me
yeah.
too. And again, absolutely honored that you picked me to be a part of this journey with you. And we're just getting started. We're barely scratching the surface. Like the rocket ship has taken off this year, and I'm
Yes.
so excited to see where it's going.
A
So thank
thousand percent. Yes. Yes. So just to introduce you to the listeners, go ahead and explain a little bit about who you are, your backstory, and anything on that side that you want to share.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've lived a pretty adventurous life, I'm not gonna lie. So I was born in Florence, Italy. When I was about 3 years old, we moved to Tanzania in East Africa, and I was there for 20 years. It's just my parents and I, and then of course my little brother came along 6 years later. But I went to an international school out there, which is why I don't have an accent. Thank goodness. I worked pretty hard at that. My mom has a very strong Italian accent. It's pretty hilarious,
I
but
never thought of that.
um,
That's interesting.
yeah, I know. I'm like it's getting more and more American as the years go by. At
I was
least
gonna
I'm
say you do
trying.
sound very American.
Thank you. um, so yeah, I was in Tanzania for 20 years. I had some pretty interesting jobs when I finished high school. I transported gold from Tanzania to Dubai twice a month. I worked for a safari company. I worked in the hospitality industry, all while I was studying psychology online. Yeah, it's safe to say that it was an interesting life. I did a lot of traveling back then too with my boyfriend at the time, who, let's just say, was not a great human. And it was that relationship, escaping that situation, that led me to moving out here
Mm.
in 2018. So I've been out here 6 years ish. Like 2025, my goodness, already, which is crazy.
I know it's
But
wild.
yeah, isn't it crazy? Yeah, I escaped that situation, escaped that abusive relationship, came out here and restarted my life. I came out here with maybe 2 suitcases. I left everything behind. I was like, I am going to America. And I moved out here and got married. That ended up in divorce. It was very amicable. It was probably the most vanilla thing that's happened to me in the past 10 years, if I'm being quite honest, which normally it's the other way around, right?
Totally.
Um, yep. So I escaped that situation and got myself into another similar situation out here. And my world just kind of fell apart for, I want to say, a couple of years. Everything that I thought I knew, the person that I thought I was, everything just came crumbling down. So I came out of that relationship and then got into another one. And then my boyfriend passed away. So it was just one thing after another after another. And I feel like I just couldn't catch a break. And all of like the journey that my life has been it forced me to go on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. And when it was kind of like a blank slate, I guess, right? And it started with just 5-10 minute walk outside in nature. That's as much as I could do sometimes in a day. I was like, shower, get dressed, go for a walk, and eat at least one meal. And when you hit rock bottom, that's huge.
Yeah.
And what started with a 10-minute walk really forced me to reconnect with myself, reconnect with a higher power, reconnect with nature. And it really forced me to sit with my thoughts and my emotions, everything that was unprocessed. And it allowed me to recreate myself and rebuild myself however I wanted to. And that kind of turned into Eternal Warriors, which is what I do with my incredible husband now, Chris Weichman. I'm like,
Praise.
finally. Yeah, it's funny how you look back on your life and things don't make sense as they're happening. But looking back, you connect the dots on like all that happened so we could get to this place, right? And create what we're creating now. So yeah, I guess we take people out on adventures all over the world and allow them to do the same thing that I did when I hit rock bottom, was to really just reconnect with what truly matters. And that's community as well. I mean, we have some incredible humans that we connect with on these adventures. Um and yeah, it makes all the difference. So that's kind of where we're at now. And of course, being a part of TFP and the final percent, and that's just completely transformed our lives. And that's like everything that's happened in our lives has led us to this moment. So I believe that wholeheartedly.
Isn't it crazy how life works with that sometimes? Like you were saying, like I think Steve Jobs is famous for quoting that the dots don't connect moving forward, they only connect looking back. And while you're
Right.
going through the thick of those hard times and those seasons of adversity and like you said, hitting rock bottom, it sucks and it's so hard and you question yourself and you're like how do I not only make it through this, like how do I survive this right now, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel oftentimes, but the fact that you pushed through and you persevered and you became stronger and now you're turning your your difficulties and the things that you went through into a positive and helping other people, do the same thing or even avoid hitting rock bottom altogether. It's such a very beautiful and powerful thing because you can truly connect with them on that level because you've been there. You've been there at a deep level.
Right.
You know, when they're experiencing that transformation on the top of a mountain, you've literally been there time and time again. And so you can better help them navigate that. So I want to ask you too, just on that note, tell me a little bit more about Eternal Warriors and just maybe give me some of your favorite experiences that you've had, in that world with people.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And there's so many.
I
And
know.
I love what I love what you said, that helping people avoid, and Greg says this all the time, right? Having the breakthrough without the breakdown. Like you
Yep.
don't have to hit rock bottom. You don't have to have your entire world, crumble for you to make a change. And a lot of us stay stuck in the past and we hold on to a lot. And either we have like a victim mentality, or we use it as a crutch, or we just haven't had time and the space and the willingness to process a lot of what's happened. So of course, I mean, there are people that fall on whatever side of the spectrum. Some of us don't have the tools to work through a lot of the things that have happened, and what we don't realize is that we're still holding the pen, so we can rewrite, or we can choose to write our future however we want to, right? So it's we don't want to stay stuck. You want to release whatever you have to release in order to move forward and be a lighthouse and start a business, travel, do all the things, start a family, but being the person that you want to be doing that. So
Yep.
yeah, going on these adventures, for example, Kilimanjaro, right? So we've climbed that twice already.
No big deal.
No big deal. It was such an incredible and transformative experience, but it was interesting because I've done that twice. So it's one of the tallest freestanding mountains in the world. And it's funny, I went back home to Tanzania to climb it. But the first time I did it, I was so not present. I was always calculating how much more I had to go. I was like, can I make it to the top? I was telling myself all these stories and had all these limiting beliefs. And it just wasn't, I mean, it was still a great experience, but comparing it to the second time that we did it, I was so much more present. I was, where my feet were or where my feet are. And I know you say that a lot, just like, just be where your feet are, be where your feet are. And I truly enjoyed every second of that trip, the views, all the things that happened along the way. And I was just enjoying the journey. And I love what Greg said the other day on a call about Megan. He's like, yeah, you know what? Chris and Carlie bring people on these adventures and they call God and he answers. And I was like, that's so true. And it was just a completely different experience, and seeing the growth that had happened just within myself in those 6 months between the two trips was insane. And I know a lot of other people that came on that adventure with us, that journey experienced their own transformation. So it's just really powerful to see the before and after. And of course there's work that you have to do after you come back home, but being able to push through the adversity and become more resilient and to have more willpower, it allows you to just have more capacity for whatever comes at you or happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
I read this the other day. I started following this lady on Instagram. She said, strong people break, resilient people adapt. So if you're just strong, 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 you're like a balloon, you can pop any moment and just crumble. But if you increase your capacity and you adapt and you overcome and um, you know, you keep overcoming these challenges, you don't pop like a balloon and crumble under pressure. So I thought that was really powerful. I'm like, you know what, that makes sense.
That's
So
so good. And if you think about it, that's exactly what we do in the final percent, the work that you've
mhm,
done. It's like we show up and we do the work. And it's like, yes, we're all strong and wanting to be stronger, but and at the end of the day, all of the work that we're doing is making all of us more resilient to
yeah.
adversity, to those things. And so that's such a beautiful illustration of that. And I love the difference that you were explaining between the first time you hiked Mount Kilimanjaro to the second. And
Mhm.
I just want to ask for those who also may be, in a similar mindset and kind of struggling, that obviously is a huge mindset shift for you to go through. And you had to do a lot of work between, you said it was 6 months between
Mhm.
hikes, right? Can you give maybe a few examples of things that you did that really helped to shift your mindset to where you became more resilient in order to actually climb that mountain with a much better headspace?
Yeah. So even just being a part of the final percent, for example, there are opportunities for growth within the community, whether it's the certification, whether it's putting us on stage, whether it's doing podcasts, whatever it is, it's stepping outside of your comfort zone
Mm,
and learning these tools to let go of the limiting beliefs and the stories that you tell yourself constantly.
mm,
That really, really helped in those 6 months. because I'm like, what is holding me back? I'm the only one that's holding me back. Why do I have this? And I keep calling it this annoying roommate that we have in our heads that's just chatter. And it gives us really terrible advice. It calls us names. It's just a
Sure.
horrible roommate. And I'm like, why do we let it live in our head? Why don't we just evict it? Like if we
Yeah.
had a friend that kept talking to us like that, I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
I
And
love
yet
that
we keep.
analogy.
Right? I'm like, it's so true. And Chris looked at me weird the other day. He's like, what do you mean you have a voice in your head? I'm like, I'm not crazy.
Like you don't?
No, exactly. I'm like, you don't. You're the weird one. do, don't you have a voice in your head that chatters
Totally.
sometimes?
But we're
Yeah.
also, I feel like women are also inherently more auditory, so I feel like that might be part of it. And it's, it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing if you let it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's huge if you let it. Because that roommate that you have in your head could be a positive roommate. It could be an encouraging roommate. Instead, again, it gives us terrible advice, and for some reason, we keep going back and listening to what it has to say. And I'm like, why do we do that? I don't know. But you know what? You have 30 minutes to pack up your stuff and leave. So those 6 months in between, just uh, stepping outside of my comfort zone, and again, learning a lot of tools to release a lot of the self-limiting or the limiting beliefs and the stories that I kept telling myself. That was huge. And of course it's always a work in progress, right? You never stop.
Right.
And I think once you realize you're the only person that's holding you back, why are you not doing the thing?
Exactly.
Why? Yeah, you're the only reason, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. That's so powerful. I love that. And it's amazing that you were able to do the work, overcome all of that self-doubt, limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk. You evicted your roommate, get out of here. And then you were able to really like figuratively and literally conquer a mountain and kick its butt, if I'm being honest. Like the moments I've heard, like you guys crushed it. And it's so incredible the power that the mind holds. And that's why personal development is so, so, so very important. And that's why I love that we both believe in the final percent's mission of getting personal growth in the hands of everybody on planet Earth. And that's another reason why I love you and Chris so much is there's so many characteristics and qualities of you and Chris and me and Greg that are just aligned, and it's so wonderful to be able to do this life with you guys and just explore and experience and do cool things with cool people and change lives and also be really fulfilled personally at the same time. And the things you're doing with Eternal Warriors is just phenomenal, and I love, love, love are, it's beyond a partnership at this point. Like we genuinely love you guys, even beyond friends, if we look at you as family. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And it's just, I'm so excited to see where this takes us in the future. And I guess I want to circle back a little bit. Um, after saying all that though. So you met Greg last year at a Operation Black Site event. I just want to touch base on kind of how you guys joined the Final Percent community as a whole. What made you really want to join?
Oof. Well, first of all, right back at you with everything that you said before that question. Like at this point, it's beyond partnership. Like you guys are family, like beyond family. Like we on our uh vision board, Chris called it something that was so much better. It was like a life by it was something about designing your life. Um and we have sitting on the front porch with Greg, Cayla, and the kiddos drinking iced tea on our property, whatever, when we're 80 and 90 years old.
Yes.
Like
Actually,
grandkids running around and all the things. And I'm like, that's perfect.
Chris showed that to me. I think we were at a tipping dinner at one of our events. Maybe it was the Denver Totality last year. And
Likely.
he like whips this out and like shows me a screenshot, like a picture he took of this list that you guys had
Yeah.
had worked on prior. Like to prove to me, like, hey, like this is how we really feel.
Happening.
This is here on like I did this before I got here.
Yeah.
And I remember that was like really seared into my mind of like, wow, these are just really incredible people. And I'm so fortunate to have you in my life. Like the fact that you guys genuinely feel that way. It's very much reciprocated. So we there it's not like a if that's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen.
133%. I absolutely adore you guys, and Chris does too. Like, this is happening for sure. Which is one of the reasons why I think we connected with Greg at Operation Blacksite. He came and he was one of the speakers, and he went through some of the training too. And I don't know what it was, but Chris and I immediately just felt drawn to him, and we're big believers in energy. And I mean, that's how Chris and I connected, right? We instantly, just felt this thing, and we were drawn
Just
to each other.
knew.
We knew, when you just know, you don't just believe, like it's this deep knowing that you have. And we just knew with Greg too. And of course, as soon as we met you, that was, it was game over. And of course the kiddos too. But we met Greg and immediately felt drawn to him, and we exchanged contacts after, we were chit-chatting a little bit. And I turned to Chris, I'm like, I don't know what it is. And he's like, I know, me too. But I know there's just something big that we're supposed to do with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know where this is taking us, but this is going somewhere. And we got a text from him shortly after, maybe 1 or 2 months after that. We were in Italy. And originally, Chris was supposed to pay somebody in some race somewhere in the country, and that got canceled. And Greg is like, what are you doing on whatever, so and so dates? And Chris is like, I don't know, what are we doing? And I turned to Chris and I'm like, just tell Greg yes. Don't even ask what it is. We don't need to know the details. Just tell him yes. We're going to show up wherever he needs us to be. And that's when we came to Seattle, to the totality. And that's where we met the rest of the family. And yeah, the rest is history. It was the best decision we've ever made. So, so grateful.
It's amazing what the power of yes can do to your life. Like when I first met Greg and I was living in Arizona,
Right.
yeah, I was like, oh, this crazy guy, like, whatever. But I was drawn to him. We became instant best friends. And I then came up to Colorado. I wanted to, join his vision and his studio and help build it from the ground up. And I just felt like I just knew that that's where I needed to be. And so I said yes, even though like my brain was like, no, 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 what are you doing? Like my analytical mind, like you're leaving your family, your stable job, like your whole life, like don't do it, red flag, red flag. But my heart was like, no, like you're in the right place at the right time. Energies are aligning, things are shifting. This is meant to be. This is bigger than you. Follow it. Say yes, lean in. Like that, those were kind of the unspoken like voices, if you will, like just the feeling, intuition that I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I said yes and I took that
So
leap.
are we.
And yeah, you guys too. Like look at what has transpired. Look at what we've accomplished together already in this short time that we've known each other, because it hasn't even been a year yet that we've been in each other's lives. So, like, the fact that we've gone so deep so fast is a testament to when you meet someone who's on your same frequency, who shares your same energy, don't say no. Say yes all the way and just dive in and lean in, and magic will happen. And that's what we've been able to accomplish with everything up until this point. And that's I'll use this to segue into the other masterminds that we launched with Greg and Chris, and then me and Carlie is the Gamma Group and the Kappa Club. It's a men's and women's only mastermind. And Carlie and I are leading the ladies into the future with Kappa Club. And it has been like one of the biggest blessings of my life. Like these women, so basically Kappa Club exists to really strengthen and equip and help women level up in all areas of their life. And it's like, yes, we can say that about the Infinity model as well and the Infinity Club. But when you're in a room with just women, like I always say, something magic happens. Certain things start to unlock that can't happen or don't happen in a larger group setting. We can cry, we can laugh, we can giggle, we can be silly, we can act like 5-year-olds, we can act like our old versions of ourselves. Like we can be sisters
Yeah.
and come together and share in that beauty of our uniqueness and our shared experiences, and just have all of the experiences together as a really solid, tight sisterhood. I didn't have a sister growing up. Like I love my brother tremendously, but I always like wished I like had a sister, younger, older, I didn't care. And yes, I had girlfriends around me and whatnot, but there's just something different. The conversations are different. The breakthroughs are different when you're around a group of women with the same mission and the same goals that are on the same frequency, that have the same energy. Even though we're from all walks of life, we're in all different seasons of life, all different ages. Like I think our youngest right now is 21 years old. Our oldest is in her 70s. Like it's a beautiful spectrum of life that is in this mastermind, and so we can pull from all different kinds of experiences and understandings. It's not just me and Carlie talking about concepts, which yes, we do that. Because obviously we want to, lead these ladies in a certain direction and be the example for them. But I learned a lot from the women at our most recent retreat and our calls, like just talking with them and sharing things with them. Like it's so fulfilling and life-changing for us as well, even as leadership. Like it's a very reciprocal thing that we have. And I'm so honored to be in charge of Kappa Club right alongside you, Carlie, because you bring such an amazing energy, spirit, insight, just so much value to these women and to me. And I get so excited and I light up when I think about, like, we literally are just dipping our toes in the water. We're just getting started. We have so many more amazing calls, events, things planned that we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about yet. We don't even know yet. We're still in the beginning stages of all of this, but I'm so thrilled to be here doing this with you. um, I'm just very, very, very honored. And so I wanted to also just ask you, um, what has been so far your favorite part of being involved in Kappa Club? And then you can also touch on the retreat we just had, kind of anything and everything Kappa Club. What's on your heart with that right in this moment?
Oh my gosh, so much, so much.
Let me
I'm
give
like,
you an easier question.
yeah, I'll try to keep it under like an hour. No kidding.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, and I know I said this earlier, I'm so, so honored to be able to do this and just life with you in general. Like I mean, God, you just gave birth not too long ago, and you decided to start a mastermind, and not only start a mastermind, but also throw an event at your house and do all the things and be a mom and be a wife and be a business owner and be a leader. And you're just incredible.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah, like I know we all look up to you so, so much, and you're just, I can't say enough good things about you. You are an absolute light. You also sing like a Disney princess, which is just the freaking cherry on top. Like we were
Oh,
walking around, yeah, we are walking around your basement, planning or watching
yeah.
Owen set up the scavenger hunt, and you just start singing and like a lot of people do that, and I'm like, you don't sound like like not to be judgy, but I'm
Like,
like, no, you're fine, but you don't have to do this like every 3 minutes. But then Cayla does it, and I'm like, please give me more, please sing more because
no,
it's just so magical,
I love
and you have this magical energy that just follows you around, and that I think is what the Kappa sisterhood feels like too. There are certain masterminds or communities that people are a part of, and when you leave, you just feel so drained,
you.
and you're like, that was great, but like I need to recover. And that's the case sometimes because of the the work that we do and the things that come up, which is totally fine, needing to recharge after a
Right.
mastermind or an event.
Mhm.
But when you're there, the energy is just up here. Like the retreat that we just had, the energy was so, so high, and it was just so beautiful. The emotions were high, the support was high, the love was just insane.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have women from all different walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds. Some are mothers, some are not, some are wives, some are not. um, and it's amazing what you can learn from each and every one of them. You can pick something from one woman that resonates and do the same thing with another, and then you get to share your experiences with them, and there's just no judgment, which is insane. Like just like you, I don't have a sister either. I have a younger brother, and I've always wanted a sisterhood. I've always wanted female friendships, and I've had some along the way, And, some were great in that season of life,
Mhm.
but none really were strong enough to kind of, because I've evolved and changed so much.
Mhm.
I'm just in a different season right now, and I'm a completely different human than I was a few years ago. And these are the kind of friendships and the type of community that you can go through the rest of your life with. And that's so powerful because you're investing in people that will be there literally for the rest of your life. So if you have a flat tire in, California, like Amanda from New York will drive across country to come save you if she needs to, right? You have like 50 people that are willing to drop everything and come help you out. And I've never had that before. And I know a lot of the women that are part of it haven't had that either. So it's so beautiful. I'm so honored to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kappa Club is extremely special. And
Yeah.
like I said, we're just getting started. We're actually just after this going to have a meeting planning our next event. Details coming soon. But it's just one of the biggest blessings of my life. And it's been kind of the fuel for me recently. Like obviously I get up and my why is my family, is my boys, my kids, my husband. But also this is a why for me is I get
Mhm.
up and I want to equip and inspire and love on and create experiences for women where we can do that and have those breakthroughs and those moments where all of our cups feel full, all of our hearts are
Yeah.
happy, and we've gone through fire together because we're doing exercises and certain thing activities and things that really we have to dig deep. We have to sometimes go backwards and sometimes go forwards in our personal growth journeys, and sometimes it gets heavy and there's tears and things, but at the end of the day, that's where real growth lies. And being able to experience all of that with my sisters now is already for sure now, but is going to be one of the biggest continued blessings of my life. And I'm just very excited to see, again, like I said, where we take Kappa Club in the future, because we have a lot of fun things in store. So if this sounds like something that you want to get involved in the final percent, go to thefinalpercent.com. There is a sign up page under the mastermind tab for Kappa Club. Reach out. Carlie and I would love to talk to you and explain a little bit more about things behind the scenes and our mission, our vision, and kind of what it looks like to join and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I think, I feel just so blessed to know you, Carlie. And I am so grateful for, ever since you came into our life, like what has transpired. And I know that, like I say, I keep saying like we're just getting started, but I really, really do believe that. Like we feel it. Like we say the rocket
Yes.
ship is taking off right now. And we're taking action and we're all doing things. Like it's starting to happen with all these other masterminds. They're having their events. We have a totality coming up. Like there's so many positive things on the horizon. This is just an exciting time to be working together and rolling this out. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for saying yes and jumping in. And thank you for being on this podcast and sharing your story and sharing your light. And I guess one thing I'll end with you is there anything else that you want to say or share that's on your heart before we wrap up?
I mean, just that I love you more.
Ha,
God. So
that
those
was
of you who know
good.
what that
That was
means.
good. That was
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
I accept. I accept.
Oh man. And yeah, again, I'm so excited to see where this takes us. And for those of you listening, think about what you're saying yes to in life. Hopefully it's the right things, right? Let go the toxic friendships, the toxic things in your life, the limiting beliefs, the stories, and say yes to the things that you know deep down you're meant to do, and say yes to the people you know you're meant to do life with. And you're definitely 133% one of those people.
Yeah.
So I love you more.
I
Thank you.
love that. Thank you so much. I love you. Great way to end it. Say yes. So say yes to more things in your life. You don't know what opportunity lies on the other side. So thank you
Yep.
all for tuning in today to the Final Percent podcast, the Exponential Women series, and stay tuned because we have more episodes coming your way very soon.